Gardeners, welcome to Garden with Jenny. I'm Jenny. Just wanted to bring you an update video of what's going on in my front flower beds. Stuff's looking pretty good. Stuff's starting to flower, or it's starting to open, so let me switch the camera around and then I'll get to show you that. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to show you is the Weigelia is starting to put out its flowers. Hooray, Weigelia! Kind of a cool plant. I need to get it trimmed and stuff. I gotta get all this weeded. What a daunting task. They have just grown out of control over here. You can tell where I actually weeded earlier in the season looks pretty good, and then this is what I didn't get to. So bad. There's so many weeds. I wish I could just weed whack it all, to be honest, but I can't. Elephant ear looks pretty cool. Dad leaves it in the ground. We don't heave it like we're supposed to. It stays warm. I guess it stays warm enough by the house. Or the winter hasn't been cold enough, long enough to kill the bulb off, so there she is. The butterfly bush is a lot bigger now. Took all the twigs down like last week while I was doing a yard, part of the yard cleanup and stuff. So that looks really nice. It's gonna be like in the 80s today again. Super freaking warm for the end of May. But we do what we can do. I went for a 7-mile walk/run yesterday along the river, which is like 5 minutes from my house, and it was really nice. Anywho, so there's the burning bush, and you've seen all my hostas already. But the lily rootstock that I planted is getting much bigger now. I know there's some weeds in here again, but it's a work in progress. So, but those are definitely coming up. Those are Asiatic lilies. No, I think they're Asiatic. They're stargazers. They're some of the prettiest lilies you can get. Here's my little planting that I did last week. It's gonna be cute. Once the grasses fill in, I'll probably end up moving them or something sometime. But the allium's getting ready to open. Look at that. She's gonna burst this week. There's 2 more flower spikes. There they are. Look at those. Irises are so pretty. They're a giant flower. Like, it's just insane. It's like a beautiful plume of white, and they have like a slight fragrance. And look at there's more buds on that stalk. Super cool, man. But the weeds are out of control again. Those are the ones Dad sprayed. Wanted to show you the bleeding heart, which is like massive in size now, with all the pretty flowers. They're so cool. This has a lot of flowers on it this year. It's kind of nice. The front bed that I mulched the other day still looks pretty good. Maybe a few small weeds here and there that I gotta spray out. Like there's one right there. These are my crocuses that I gotta trim down because it's getting later in the season, so they're gonna brown out. It's already starting. The tulips I could probably cut down now too. But I really kind of like the foliage on the tulips. I might cut the seed heads off. Look at those. Look at them. Crazy. And then once I cut those off, I'll leave the foliage until it yellows out, and then we'll get rid of that too. Daylilies getting big. Oh, I think, can't really see. Right about there is my other daylily that I planted from rootstock. Hopefully that develops pretty soon into something This daylily it's a red daylily. So is the rootstock that I planted, but this guy's been in here a while. I had a second one in, but the guys who weeded our beds last year because they got out of control because I just didn't have time, freaking ripped it out. Ripped one of them out, which made me really mad. They ripped out a lot of stuff, and I'm not very pleased. Like a lot of plants that I really enjoyed, that were really pretty, they ripped out. So Jenny's not too happy, but at least this guy's nice and big. And my other rootstock that I planted over in that area ever pops up, this will be a nice full bed, but I don't foresee it doing that. And finally the cherry's starting to fill out a little more. I did a pretty extensive cutback on it. And I wanted her to get kind of out of her, oh my, she's leaning. I wanted her to get out of the stressful stage that she was in before I did any, feeding. Because you're not supposed to feed plants when they're stressed, but look at this little guy. Little precious flower. Super cute. If it doesn't flower like a huge amount, that's okay. I'm not like super concerned about it. I just don't want to lose the tree. And I know the cracks in the bark are pretty deep. So I don't know how long she's going to be around. And like I said, we lost one of our burning bushes this year. Look at all the new growth on this guy. Ooh, the new growth is super soft. I wish the old growth was soft like that. I wouldn't actually mind having this in the yard if all the growth was soft like that. What the hell? Like when I was before all this new growth, I bet you I could clean under this now and not get stabbed by it. It's all the new growth. But when I was weeding this bed and putting the mulch down, I kept getting like, I have super huge amounts of cuts on my arms because of the stupid needles on this thing. Super annoying. And the lilac started to open. This is why I decided to film today, was because it's really starting to open up, and the fragrance is just heavenly fragrance. And I don't know, this thing is so big and beautiful. It's like, I gotta trim that once it's done flowering and stuff. But let me take you over to the side of my house. And show you what's going on over here. Ooh, the Baptisia's starting to change color. Do you see it? I don't know if you can see it, but the buds are starting to change to the purple now. That's gonna be super awesome looking once it all flowers out. It looked amazing last year too, like no joke. I love this plant. It is one of the prettiest plants I've ever seen, and it was a really satisfying buy. Like, this thing was so small when we first got it. And you know what would be super nice? Sorry if I just blocked the view. I was adjusting my iPod. Something that I would do, like, when I have my own house one day, if I live in an area where this is still hardy, I am going to do a hedgerow of it, because what an epic hedgerow that would be. I would totally do that. I love this plant. But like I said, once you plant it, you're not supposed to move it. So, ooh, the roses are getting buds on them. Just looking for aphids because I had aphids last year. I'm probably going to get them again. Ginkgo is in full bud out right now. And the weeds, I gotta get rid of these weeds. There's so many beds to do, it's disgusting. I don't know what to do, guys. And today's Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day, everybody. That should have been like my first tagline after I said, you know, the normal opener. But I didn't think to say it until right now. My bad. These have soft needles too when they're brand new. What the frick? Actually, these needles, well, they are still stiff compared to some of the stuff. And look at the peony buds. There's so many buds on this thing. They're getting pretty freaking big now. They're starting to excrete their sap, their sugary substance. Surprised I don't see any ants on there, because the ants love that stuff. And the phlox is developing flower buds, and I'm a little concerned right now. I got some brown stippling going on. Sorry, this is the first time I've been over here since a few days ago. So, and this wasn't here last time. I don't know. That's interesting, stippling. I wonder if that's a type of fungus or not. Anyways, it'll run its course. You know, it's in a good spot. You know, they tell you right plant in the right spot can fight off just about anything. So here's to hoping with that. And look at that guy. Can you see him? I don't know if you can see him or not. But pollinators are out. And Jenny loves pollinators. Grasshoppers in the grass. How fitting. Alright, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. This is like the bed of death. Ugh, I don't even want to deal with it. Honestly. We're thinking about getting rid of a couple of the beds anyways, because they're just so weirdly placed, and I can't really keep up with it all by myself, you know, like, I really kind of bit off more than I could chew. But there's sweet pea vine in here. Stupid. Anyways. I gotta go help my dad put up our American flag. So, again, happy Memorial Day, everybody. And remember to stay green, folks.